Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Today's topic is racism amongst us. It's been 155 years since the abolishment of slavery and 400 years since the first slaves arrived in America in Jamestown, Virginia in 1619. Yes, do the math. But yet the black man is still somewhat enslaved. Blacks are gloomy about the country's racial progress. At least 8 out of 10 blacks feel that the legacy of slavery affects the position of the black and brown people in America today. Many blacks and Hispanics see disadvantages of being the minority in our country. As a business owner, I have employed people of all races, black, white, Asian, and Hispanics. I have observed how all respond to racism. Many have denied their very own ethnicity or wish to be of lighter skin for only to be accepted by the white race. Many in the Hispanic community deny their race on applications, and yes, it saddens me to hear my brown brothers and sisters referring to themselves as white, denying those who have came before them. I have counseled all races in my Christian profession. I have also observed how the black man treats his own race and the comments made about their own skin tone, and the non-support of black businesses, as well as the way that we respond when we see another brother or sister trying to get ahead. And instead of rejoicing, according to Romans 12 and 15, that says, rejoice with those who rejoice and weep with those who weep. But we choose to turn our heads and deny their very existence. How can we expect to gain respect if we're not willing to give it? Do we find it easier to envy prosperous brothers and sisters than to be joyful about their circumstances? Instead of answering this question, let me tell you why. Have you ever heard of the gentleman named William or Willie Lynch? You see, Mr. Lynch delivered a speech on the banks of James River in Virginia in 1712. His speech regarded control of the slaves within the colony. The latter purports to be the verbatim account of a short speech given by a slave owner in which he tells other slave masters that he has discovered the secret to controlling black slaves by setting them against one another, which I personally feel has created racism amongst our own people, dividing us with the intention of us failing. Mr. Lynch spoke boldly of his suggestions that the slave masters adopt his method, which consists of exploiting differences such as age, gender, and color to pit slaves against each other. This method, he assured his hosts, will control the slaves for at least 300 years. Well, I must say, Mr. Lynch far succeeded his expectations. You see, when a person doesn't know who they are, they don't know what to fight for. So in our past, we have fought amongst ourselves instead of uniting to bring change. In 2020, we have collectively fought COVID-19. We have stood in solidarity together for racial equality, with the death of George Floyd leading the way. For the first time in history, we are finally waking up to see that we are all brothers and sisters, no matter what our skin tones may betray. Whether we be black, white, brown, or yellow, we are all one. You see, equality comes from God and not man. One of the statements of the U.S. Declaration of Independence says this: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Malachi 2:10 says, "Do we not all have one Father? Did not one God create us? Why do we profane the covenant of our ancestors by being unfaithful to one another?" You see, all men were created equal, but the adversary intervened with the spirit of prejudice, being that one gained more recognition than the other, which birthed the color code, leaving one to feel superior over the other. Racism is birthed through inferiorities, which leads to fear and jealousy. Fear of failing, fear of losing, fear of not being recognized. We have found that jealousy stems from non-recognition and is birthed through feelings less of or less than. But within our truth, all men are really looking for is acceptance and recognition. But the next time your brother or sister needs you, no matter what race, creed, or color, extend your hands in hope of help, for you are your brother's keeper. The Bible records how Cain murdered his brother Abel. And when the question came up by God about his whereabouts, Cain responded by saying, "Am I my brother's keeper? For we are created in the image and the likeness of God." To kill another human is an assault on God. So as God's children, let's erase the past for a brighter future by loving one another according to Jesus' command in John 13:34. Love one another as I love you. So let's search our hearts and become one and obliterate racism. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the announcements following this segment.